What's going on, everybody? David here from Bluckers Videos and Toys, and today we are going to be checking out the brand new Jurassic World Rebirth Frenzy Pack Beipiaosaurus. I hope I pronounced that right. So this is a brand new species for the Series 2 line for the Frenzy Pack, and so I don't know anything about this species except for the little bit of research that I did. So let's go ahead and take this thing out of its packaging, so that way we can take a closer look at the packaging and the card back. Alright, so this is your basic style of packaging for the Frenzy Pack. So the difference that I've noticed is that each species has a different background. So pretty much the outer part of the card back will be the same, but in the middle part where the dinosaur is inserted in the middle of the packaging has a different climate. So I think this is, I'm just speculating, so I'm guessing this is representation of where it's from, or kind of where it's from, because if you noticed on the Seoptra packaging, it had like mountains and skies and stuff. So hence that I mentioned that it's from Scotland, Isles, from the area of the Isles from the Sky, and so that's pretty much, I'm assuming that's what that background was trying to represent. So this particular species is from China, so this is kind of like the background from that era, I'm assuming. Just my speculations, I could be wrong, but just by the research I did for these particular species that are in this particular wave, I'm assuming that's what the background on these card backs represent. But anybody's more than welcome to correct me if I'm wrong. That's fine. I don't mind. Constant learning every day, right? So this is the, like I mentioned, it's a basic Jurassic World Rebirth Frenzy Pack style packaging, but you got the Jurassic World logo, brand new Jurassic World logo, Rebirth, right here. And so then you got the red outline, and then you got this black pattern stripe right here in the middle with that cuts off with the red striping right there, and with the a little bit of black here on the bottom left hand corner. So it's pretty unique how they did that, you know. And then I'm sure if I was able to cut this out, and then you could see the full card back. So basically, well, you can look at it right here. So basically, you got the black striping pattern right there with the red right there, with the red a little right here, and then you got the little bit of white or gray right here. So of course, you know, you got the gray striping there with the white that intersects right there with the grayish white. I guess this would represent the glass because it's got the wet look right there, the dripping with the rain and stuff. And then you got the three black squares right there. And then right here you got the I guess the glass portion right there with the part of the background right there. And then you got the Spinosaurus there on the bottom right hand corner, and then you get the little bit of grass sticking out. And you get the Mattel logo right there, and then you got the ages 4 and up right there. That's me. And so yeah, so it's pretty cool, you know. It's kind of a continuation of like the Evolution line and Dino Trackers line, where they had the different biomes. So I'm pretty sure that that's what doing this for here, and from that particular area where they're from. That's like the only difference. I'm not just telling you that it's from the forest or from the water, from the air or sea. They're actually giving you kind of like an idea where they're actually from. So that's my assumption, but like I said, you're more than welcome to correct me if I'm wrong. So here's the back of the card back. So we got the cross sales of all the different species that we are going to be reviewing in this particular wave. And then you have the Jurassic World Rebirth logo right there with the red end right there. And then you got the name of the dinosaur. And then you got the fax app information right there. And then, of course, you know, down here is all your copyright information with all the logos and stuff. All right, so let's take a look at this species. And here is a look at the Beipiaosaurus. So this was basically lived in the early Cretaceous in China. I'm not trying to pronounce the formation because the last time I tried to pronounce the formation, I couldn't even finish it because I didn't even know the what it was called. I'm not even gonna try, but that's on me though. But anyways, so yeah, this is the early Cretaceous, and this is part of the Therizinosauridae family, and it's an ugly little thing. And of course, it's a plant eater, and of course Mattel likes to make certain dinosaurs more scarier than what they look in real life. So I don't know if they had, doubtful that they had teeth, but it adds more of the appeal to it, I guess. So this is Jurassic World, so I guess they're going to add their little spin on it. So of course it's not going to be 100% accurate, but you get the gist of what it is and what it looks like. And this is pretty a good size. I think this is pretty much accurate to how big the real thing is next to a 3 3/4 figure. So they weren't very big at all. They were small. So let's go ahead and bring out the other species that it's related to. So this is the Therizinosaurus right here. So this is part of the family. So which is really cool. So I do like that. So I like the fact that we're getting more species from particular obscure species that we wouldn't normally would get. Like I said, it's just learning about different things that I've never even thought of or heard of. So but yeah, that's part of the Therizinosauridae family. All right, so. But yeah, this is probably one of the first ones that they found for this particular species that actually had feathers. So I do like the fact that they added some little featheration to the mold. So basically, this is pretty much casted in as a red velvet mold, and I think this part was pretty much airbrushed on, and you could tell that the featheration here, get the skin, and then you got the featheration here, especially here in the back of the head. Got the featheration there, and then a little bit underneath the neck and on the chest of it. So that's pretty cool as well. So I do like the head sculpt though. So that looks like the eyes are on point, and that's where the pupils are looking. It looks like they're looking up. Now, I don't think that this particular species had teeth. I think they just, like I said, they added this stuff to the appeal. Kind of makes it look more scary. So I do like the beak. I do wish they kind of would have added a little bit of coloration to the beak. That would have been really cool. And so basically, yeah, this is get the little claws here. Too bad they didn't paint these. So used to them not having this, but at least it would have been pretty cool if they would have added at least a little bit of paint, to the claws, instead of making it all one color. But that's their basic line, and Mattel likes to do that, cut corners. But overall, the sculpt is really good. This is probably like my favorite one of this particular this wave. So just because it's so unique and different in how it looks, with the teeth. So as you can tell, you got the osteoderms right there, here on the hind legs and on the back, where the tail starts. And then you got the little bit of osteoderms here on the tip of the tail, on top of the tail, not the tip. So the featheration, like I said, is the patternation goes all the way down here. And I do like the fact that they did mold it out right there to where it's a tip, not where they would just cut it off. So kudos to Mattel for that. So the neck, got the little neck structure right there, and the muscle, and then get the little featheration here underneath. And you got a little bit right there underneath the jaw. And then, yeah, got the osteoderms coming out across the back of the head there. And, yeah, the head sculpt looks great. You know, there's no paint on the head sculpt or anything like that. Just the eyes. The eyes look good, you know, just like the pupil where they put the paint on the pupils. You know, they looks like it's looking up. But other than that, that's about it. Oh, and I got the featheration here on the back of the hind legs here. So I do like that there. So it would have been cool if they could, because I think from my understanding, I think the featheration they found on this thing was like on the arm, just a little bit. So that would have been cool if they added a little bit of featheration there. You know, kind of like how they did with the Pyroraptor. They could have made the arms like that a little bit. So that would have been pretty cool. But I'm just glad we got some kind of representation with the featheration and stuff. May not be exactly how we would have wanted, but hey, at least they added something. Something is better than nothing. Alright, so as far as wave articulation, so the tail goes all the way around, and then the hind legs just forwards and backwards, and then the arms forwards and backwards, and then the neck is on a hinge, so you just get, it's a little stiff there, and then all the way up like that, and then of course, you know, the jaw is on the hinge. They did a real good job on this, you know. So I like the fact that they did a good job on that. No bleed or anything, so nice job right there. No cavities. So yeah, this is my favorite one of the wave, to be honest. So I'm really happy to have this. So really good. All right, so let's go ahead and do some comparisons. We'll just go ahead and do the human comparison first. So that's pretty much accurate, almost. You know, it could be a little bit smaller, but for the most part, for what they're going for, I think it's pretty much on point. Might be need to be a tad bit smaller, but like I said, these were a little bit smaller species for that particular family. But overall, I think it looks wonderful. All right, so let's go ahead and bring out a couple of species that lived in the early Cretaceous. All right, so one of the species that lived in the same time frame is, now, forgive me if I mispronounced this because it's been so long since I've looked at this thing and pronounced the name. So I guess it's the Beipiaosaurus, or Ampulosaurus, something like that. And so yeah, it's a pretty nice size comparison. This might be a little bit bigger. Should be a little bit bigger, but for the size comparison, it works. And for the final comparison is the Neovenator. So pretty much lived around the same time frame as well. And that was a look at the Beipiaosaurus. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I'm pretty sure it changed throughout this review because it's not something I pronounce on a regular basis. So forgive me if I mispronounce it, and if I did get it correct and then kind of failed throughout the review, then my apologies. But yeah, let's look at this particular species. Like I said, it's probably like my favorite one out of the whole entire wave. And so very happy to have it. And let me know in the comments below what you think of this thing. And don't forget, words to wisdom. Buy what you love and not what you like, because if you buy what you like, you will always end up getting rid of it. And I will catch y'all later.